Hello YouTube, it's Atticus. Welcome. Today we have one of the hardest matchups in the game in my opinion. Wood Elves versus the Asar. Is that what they are? The Asar, the High Elves. So yeah, anybody who's played this game for any amount of length of time will know this is a very hard matchup for the Wood Elves. Specifically because the High Elves have cheap archer units that could counter the Wood Elves archer units. And they have a little bit more superior cav. So, but don't get me wrong, the Wood Elves do have ways to make up that little bit of a power difference. But it takes a little bit of micro. It takes a little bit of skills. It takes a little bit of using your magic wisely and your abilities. So this game was really cool. It comes down to a big battle between cav units. You can see that the the High Elves have brought in 5 cav units, one of them being the Fireborn, versus my 2 Wild Riders, one of them being the Wild Hunters of Cornus, and a unit of Hawkeye of Drakera, the Way Watcher. So let's go ahead and jump to the builds, guys. So leading my army here, my war pack, is Orion. I took all his abilities, and why he's going to be useful in this matchup is for the Horn of the Wild Hunt, which will give me that 54 charge bonus, which will take my Wild Riders and bring them up to 100 charge bonus, so that could really help even things out, between Dragon Princes and things that have a lot of high armor. We have a front line of just Dryads, guys, so we're going cheap. I just wanted something that will chew through Spearmen and hold, and these guys do have the 20% physical resistance, and they should be sufficient to get through these low-tier infantry units of the High Elves, as long as we can distract his archer units, because the archer units will actually tip it into his favor. We have 1 unit of Treekin. These guys are just really tanky, hopefully to absorb some archer units and just to kind of give me a presence in the front line that won't break. And then we have 2 units of Glade Riders, one of them being the poison Hagbane tips. And the reason I like to do 1 poison, 1 regular is if anything tries to chase him, the poison unit will slow him down, and both of them could do their damage, and it saves you 100 gold. And you can see we're going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure on this left flank, hopefully distracting him, hopefully making him forcing him to make a mistake, distracting his archers and things like that. And last but not least, guys, we do have a unit, a Spellsinger with Shadows. So, yeah, we're going a DPS kind of heavy magic build. And we have a Feebling Foe, Miasma, and the Pendulum. So, up on an Eagle, she should be able to assist the 2 Wild Riders. She'll be powerful enough to maybe, tip the engagement into my favor. So it's all going to come down to when I decide to strike. So that's my build, guys. For my opponent here, we're fighting against Teclis, and he has a pretty standard loadout, very tactical one: the Net, Feebling Foe, and Regrowth, which will have a very good synergy with the Fireborn, which you can see my opponent has brought. So these guys are going to be the biggest threat in the whole army that I'm going to need to shut down as quickly as possible. For his front line, he just has a bunch of spear units, and a bunch of archers, so regular archers and 2 Lothran Sea Guards with their shield chants. Then we have 1 Illyrian Reaver, 3 wild, Silver Helms with shields, and 1 unit of the Fireborn. So I can't talk. So we have 5 heavy cav units from the High Elves. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys, to see how it goes. So right off the bat, as the cat said to the litter box. I don't know if I said that one before, but yeah, we're going to try to force a mistake out of my opponent. We're being, kind of cautious right here. He does have these spear units, so I don't want to engage, just yet. You can see we are kind of poking and prodding over on this left flank. Yeah, I'm just trying to force a mistake out of my opponent. We're doing a little bit of damage. You can see we're kind of chipping away on these spearmen, and my opponent doesn't have cheap. He doesn't have Earthblood. He just has Regrowth, so he's going to have to be kind of, conservative about where he decides to heal. You can see I'm going to get a Miasma off on these Fireborn. Just anything I could do to do a little bit of damage, and you can see I'm going to get a Pendulum off on these archer units, doing a little bit of damage to the Lothran Sea Guard and the archer units. So yeah, a little free damage, doing what we can. You can see that the Hawkeyes, the Way Watchers are going to start opening up. This ain't the best trade. I will pull away here in a second once they start taking damage. I was just trying to bait my opponent into coming into this little pocket right here, away from his spear units. You can see this whole time, though, my Dryads aren't taking that much damage, so we're kind of distracting his archery units, which is what I want to do. If he's sitting here trying to shoot these guys, it means he's not hitting my Dryads, which means my Dryads will be able to beat his spear units. And he does have the Scions of Athlon, which I forgot to mention. So now his big goon squad of Cav is going to start moving into position right here. You can see that the Hawkeyes are going to start shooting right into the face of the Fireborn. These guys are the biggest threat, and I am going to use the Wild Riders, the Horn of the Wild Hunt, which is going to bring their charge bonus to 100. So here comes the massive charge of the Wild Riders. Boom, right into these Silver Helms. Here comes the second unit. boom, right into these guys, and yeah, it's going to keep these guys all in place, and you can see I'm going to get a miasma and a feebling foe off on the Fireborn, and we're going to try to neuter those guys as quickly as possible. You can see that's going to drop their guys' melee stats down. You can see I'm going to drop my Spell Singer into the combat, and I'm going to have my Way Watchers here in the back, providing that leadership debuff and that massive damage. So yeah, we have a little bit of an even trade right here, guys. Let's go ahead and slow it down right here. You can see both our lords are coming to support. You can see I did get a hound spell off on these guys right here, on these archer units, and I also got my fire spell. That's some easy free damage from Orion, and Orion is getting ready to hit in the back with his anti-large bonus and his terror. That's going to really help, hopefully be able to break this pocket of units, because this is really the center of the battle right here. What happens in this engagement will dictate who wins this game. You can see my Dryads and my Treekin are doing, fairly well against the Spearman units, except for the Scions of Mathlon. These guys have a ward save, but he has them so far away from everybody, they're not really giving that bonus to anybody else. And you can see over here, these Dryads are actually beating these Spearman units, and I'm still pressuring with my 2 units of Glade Riders. I'm doing a little bit of damage to these guys. You can see we've actually broken one of the spear units, so that's what's going on in the infantry fight. Let's get back to the main engagement right here. So yeah, you can see Orion gets into the back, and that's going to really help tip things in my favor, and you can see that we are focusing down Teclis. We're going to focus a regrowth out of him, I do believe, which is going to... a potion of charity. Can't talk. Which is going to... it's going to keep him from casting some magic for a bit, and we're doing a lot of damage to him, guys. And you can see these Wild Riders with their massive charge bonus, and with the support of the Spell Singer, is actually keeping these, Silver Helms, these Fireborn in place. These Wild Way Watchers are just really helping me. They're paying for themselves, and we're doing a lot of damage, especially with Orion here in the back. And you can see with them all grouped up, these guys are just a fish in a barrel, and these guys do have a leadership debuff attack, which is really coming in handy. Over here, you can see I kind of lost Mike. I wasn't paying attention, and I lost one of my Glade Riders of Hagbane Tips. But yeah, like I said, I need to keep these guys distracted because I want to win the infantry fight. I want my Dryads to win, and you can see the ones that aren't getting hit are actually winning. It even says unit winning slightly. So, I'm kind of playing the long con. I want these guys into the late game. Over here, the Treekin and the Dryads are just, we have like a wet noodle contest. My guys do have the damage dealer trait, so they should be able to win. But yeah, these archer units are just being a real pain for me. But we're winning the Cav fight. You can see with Orion and his terror, we've broken, this Silverhelm unit. Now my opponent does have his Illyrian Reavers coming in here to try to shut down the Way Watchers, but they do have a smoke bomb. So if it comes down to that, these guys have really good combat stats, and they'll be able to hopefully win that engagement. You can see the Illyrian Reavers are going to start getting shot right into the face. These guys should be getting the smoke bomb here any second. So there goes the smoke bomb. It's going to slow those guys down, keep their combat stats, and yeah, we're going to be able to break his units. You can see Orion is just a beast here in combat. This is what he excels at, and the Wild Riders surprisingly have done really good, considering I don't have any healing and things like that, especially with the Spell Singer. Now, unfortunately, my opponent does have these 2 archer units now. They're going to start providing that overwatch. I do have a shield chance, but yeah, that sucks, but I have to take the damage. There's nothing I can really do about it right now. Balance of power is still smack dab in the middle, guys. You can see that my Hawkeyes are in combat right now, but they're going to actually just destroy these Illyrian Reavers. They have like 40-something melee attack. You can see my Wild Hunters of Cornus do get in here. They get a catch on Teclis, and yeah, we're doing a lot of damage to him. Now, he is going to respond by sending his Silver Helms, but yeah, I'm going to have one of my Hound Spells from Orion come in there and do a lot of damage for him. You can see I'm going to break that unit of Silver Helms. My Spell Singer is coming in here to assist. My opponent does have the Fireborn right here. I'm going to do a bit of the fire damage on these guys from Orion, but these guys have immunity to fire. They don't take fire damage, so it's a little bit of a bluff. My opponent is going to pull away, which means he's not attacking, which means it's going to open up for my Hawkeyes to be able to disengage and hopefully get back to shooting. And you can see I do use the Horn of the Wild Hunt again, which is raising their charge bonus, and hopefully be able to get some charge damage from either Orion or my Wild Riders, who are both breaking at this moment. Now, we're both looking kind of beat up, guys, but yeah, if we can shut down these Fireborn, I think things are going to be okay. And you can see the Hawkeyes now are going to be able to disengage. Orion's going to come. Once he gets in the combat, things will look really good for us. Now, keep in mind, he also does have healing, whereas Teclis is at half health. You can see my Spellsinger is in the thick of it right now. She's surprisingly good on the Eagle, guys. Don't be afraid to use your Spellsinger on the Eagle. If you pay that 1,500 gold or whatever it is to get her, she's actually a pretty good duelist. And you can see the Terror of Orion is going to come in there, and we're going to just break all 3 of his units. So that's a huge gain for us, guys, right here at the edge of the map right here, which is going to allow me to start focusing down Teclis. You can see I'm immediately going to have the Spellsinger go chase him, and Orion to go chase. Over here, guys, you can see that the Dryads are about ready to break through these Spearman units. My Glade Riders are coming back from routing. His archery units are starting to get low on arrows, and once they run out, we're going to be at a really huge advantage. You can see these Treekin are doing really good. They're holding up 2 of his spear units, and over here, my Dryads are getting ready to break 1 of his units, but my opponent is turning around, getting some overwatch from these archery units, which, you know, still, it's anybody's games, guys. It's still smack dab in the middle. You can see that the Way Watchers are just shooting these Fireborn into the back. We don't want those guys coming back. And you can see we do get Teclis caught out of position. The Spellsinger gets a huge hit. Same with Orion. Yeah, and Teclis is going to get killed by the Spellsinger and get sent to the next life. So yeah, guys, Balance of Power for the first time in the game kind of comes into my favor. Now I'm really taking advantage of the mobility of the Spellsinger. I'm just shutting down all these units that are next to the map and trying to keep them from routing, or excuse me, from returning into the battle. You can see we are going to be able to break a couple of his Spearman units, but now he's going to start using his Silver Helms to try to get a charge into those Dryads, but that's okay, you know what I mean? We're just chasing off these units. The Wild Riders right here are going to be trying to get the Fireborn, and yeah, the Way Watchers right here, the Hawkeyes are going to start shooting into this glob of archers, and yeah, we should be able to win that engagement, even though we are kind of beat up. I will eventually disengage. You can see Orion is going to start getting into the thick. He does have the Terror. I'm going to get a really brutal Hound spell right onto the top of his archers, guys, and yeah, the Balance of Power now is really strongly drifting in my favor. We're going to break both of those archery units, and yeah, now it's looking like my game, guys. You can see we're just doing a little bit of cleanup. My opponent is really beat up. He doesn't have any more leadership, and I still have 2 Lords, and I still have some damage potential from my Spellsinger. And you can see here comes Orion. Once he gets into the charge here, guys, things will be looking good for us. I do get a Feebling Foe off, but my opponent is just going to give up. You know, it was a frustrating game for him. I could get it. The lose like that. You know, I mean, he did have a really good counter to the Wood Elves, but yeah, you know, like I showed you guys how you can make up the difference through your abilities, through like Orion's abilities, the spells, you know, the Horn of the Wild Hunt, and then these Hawkeyes. These guys were the real MVPs. They really allowed me to do a lot of damage when we were outnumbered. You know, 2-1. The Hawkeyes kind of evened it out. So yeah, guys, for the build, I mean, it went how I imagined it would. The Dryads were able to hold the Spearmen in place. They were able to trade effectively. My Glade Riders were able to distract a lot of his archery units. The Treekin were just like that tank unit, refuses to die. And with the support of the Spellsinger of Shadows up on our Eagle, who did really good versus Heavy Cav. And also, you got to keep in mind, the Riot Hunters of Cornus have the Guardian trait, so both my lords were getting that, you know, damage resistance while they were fighting. So yeah, things just went really good, guys. So good game to Healthy Bear. It's Atticus. I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye now.